floridahealth.com, looked up certificates, right? And let me just show you, show you why we went to this one first. It tells you right here, if you're looking for the basically the certificate of live birth, what you're going to need to get authenticated so you could travel to foreign countries that are not a part of the Hague, right? And that's what we're looking for. What I found notice is I was reading through the birth certificate applications. Nothing on there says proof of live birth. I actually stopped and read on the birth certificate, there's commemorated plaques, right? And nothing on there says proof of live birth, all right? The only one that I seen, it says live birth on there was when you pull up the Apostille application. And you go there and you read about it. It's the only one that says anything about live birth or record of birth. I think it's what it said exactly. So just to give help to anybody that's doing this and they're from Florida, I noticed no one really put anything up there for that, but this is what you're looking for. Now you can find the same application on the birth certificate. If you click on birth certificate, well, are you gonna help me out? All right, it's gonna be, let's see, right here. This is the one, but it's the same thing. It's the same one, the same application when you're actually looking up the apostilles. All right, but this one right here, just the birth certificate. The birth certificate application is not going to be what you're looking for, because if you're reading this, they're going to want you to attach the apostille to it, and they want what is it called, the release, for the information, the affidavits of release. So it's almost simpler just to go to the apostille and just click on them and fill them out from there. The commemorated birth certificate application was interesting because I tried pulling it up on here, but it won't show it clear. But if you're on your computer or on your phone, you can pull it up and it will show that here on these commemorated plaques, they actually say native of Morocco. But here's the dead giveaway, which I couldn't figure this out until I spoke to Lex, and then Lex told me to send it to Vincent. And Vincent pointed this out, that not that Lex didn't, but he just said it was going to blow Vincent's mind, because I wasn't expecting it. I was kind of like just shocked, but what got me was that it said Morocco, but it's all in all capitals. Right, so then Vincent pointed out that means it's a corporation. It's not the actual land itself. The corporation of Morocco is functioning in Florida. So after getting that cleared up, then I just did a little search around for Morocco in Florida, and I think the reason that Morocco is set up in Florida as a corporation is because of the Shriners. I mean, the Shriners are, I know they're popular everywhere, but like they have their all children's hospital there, right outside of Tampa. It's like their getaway, in my opinion. But I just thought maybe that's why. And then look at Walt Disney. My sister and I started talking about this, and we thought about Walt Disney and how he took a corporation and built an empire, starting in Orlando, right? He took that business he had and turned it into a government. At least from my sister describing what's going on there, where they have their own police force and so on and so forth, And then basically it just makes you think about the way that the United States is a corporation. There's been many people that have proven it's a corporation. It shows you that where it's trademarked out of it and so on and so forth. And Delaware, with if you watch, what's his name, Jonah Bay's videos, he'll show you actually specifically where it's headquartered out of. But Walt Disney did the same thing, and I never really thought about it until now. And like I said, I think it's the Shriners that are the reason why Morocco is set up as a corporation in there, because, look in secret, they all wear the fez, right? So, let me see, click on this. And they're going to give you all the information. Like, they're going to tell you, like, if you're trying to use this if you're trying to use this to travel outside the country, they're going to give you all the information you need, what to do next once you get it, approved, how you're going to send it to the State Department because they don't do it anymore, and so on and so forth. So it's you can build confidence once you read it and you know the step by step, because I'm telling you, some of these YouTube authors make it seem more difficult than what it is, and I don't know if it's an ego thing for them. I mean, like, you're watching some of these guys and they're like making it seem like it's a mystery and you're just not gonna get it. So come pay for it and you figure it out. And then you got Vincent and Lex and Yusuf and all these other guys just say, read it first before you do anything. The information's there. I mean, that's how everybody gets the knowledge, right? It's just by reading. But some people, I don't know, and they just make it seem like you're not going to get it, but it's so simple. Like, they didn't even try to hide it. When I was reading this, I was thinking about the different people, like Vincent and Lex, and how they broke this stuff down. I'm like, if I just would have read before I would have been asking questions, and I would have figured that I could have had the same information too. So it tells you you're going to send it all off and with all you need with it. So it's right here on like I said, the Florida Health page.com. But you're going to fill out the Apostille birth certificate application. You're also going to fill out the release, the affidavits to release it. These are going to go in together. You're going to send them all together. They send you the mailing information where you're going to mail it to with the money order and a copy of your driver's license or your ID card, state ID card. But I think that's it for that. So we'll close that. The other thing was I was watching a gentleman from California. He broke it down several times, I guess. But by the time I watched this, he was explaining it again for people that didn't catch it or people who've seen it and they didn't understand. He was breaking it down again, how to fill out the UCC. What is it? 13, I think it is, when you're discharging debt, right? And he was showing how, where the all caps names go, where your name goes. He had an address on there. I've been watching stuff where people are explaining, the address. Having an address makes you under military occupation. So they were explaining different ways and methods that they've are trying to get out of the address, and so on and so forth. So I thought that was pretty interesting, how they were doing that, because it was making them, they were living on the land, but they were foreigners to the United States is what they were doing. I still want to get that down pat before I go off, talking about it, but I just thought that was, interesting what they were doing. Because I've heard it before in the past. People said don't use an address when you go to court. Don't tell them you have an address. I just wasn't paying close enough attention to comprehend what it was about. I'm not going to read this whole treaty. No shocker there, right? I just don't have the time. My lunch break's almost over. I have like 8 minutes, but I wanted to point some things out. If you're like me and you're working and you want to, and you can't have your phone out, I want to show you. You can always go here and listen. I usually listen to a lot of these while I'm just working. The Adams own it. And then I'll go back and read it, just to give myself a heads up and the parts that I think is interesting, that stick out in my mind. But you can always have them. You can listen to this if you're busy. You don't have time to sit down and read, and then go back and read this later. Just making suggestions. Let's see here. Peace like a dove, Columbia, right? The Columns, Columbine High School. It's the dove. One other thing I thought was interesting was that Spain was sending in garrisons to settle Florida. And when I was looking up garrisons, I thought this was telling, because let me go back. I want to make sure I said this right. This painting here shows garrisons of, oh man, I'm gonna mess this up. Malta. The garrisons of Malta in 1565 and the Ottomans invasion force. Now look here. I thought, as soon as I seen this, it dawned on me. Aren't these guys wearing the fez right here? And these guys are wearing the turbans. Now I want to think that these guys are your Ottomans, the ones wearing the turbans, because look, they got the crescent moon. And I started thinking about this, right? You read that, you read, or you're listening like me, and you're at work, and you're listening to these guys, talk about the Florida Seminoles and so on and so forth, and they're like, oh, and they were wearing turbans, and it dawned on me as I'm listening to it, why are they wearing a turban? Who taught them about a turban? If they're sitting here in North America and you really hear about anybody else, any of the other Indians wearing turbans, why are they the ones wearing turbans? And I think the connection is the other ones that we call Seminoles or Native Americans. I think they might be the remnants left over of the garrisons. I think they might be the Ottomans, the soldiers that were captured by the French and so on and so forth, and they were sent to do their dirty work, like they were sent, like their version of the Marines or Green Berets, to send into different places, because they said they were sent there to settle it. That means you're going to be fighting the natives. That means you're going to be pushing them out of the way to make your own land. And you got to ask yourself, what happened to them once it was all over? What happened to the garrisons? Where did they go? What were they classified as? Are we looking at quote-unquote Native American tribes in North America that are really nothing more than Ottomans? Think about it. Would that explain why, Orlando, look at the word Orlando. There was already Orlando over in what's the place over there? Over in Europe. Why the Senecas in New York, their name is spelled the exact same way as Seneca the Younger of Rome. Why Toronto, there's a city over in Italy that's spelled exactly like Toronto as far as the consonants are concerned. The vowels, they just, instead of having O, there was the 3 O's in Toronto, you just replace them with the A's. Everything else stays the same. The T, the R, the N, the D, it all stays the same. Why is there so many similarities to places over there when the people they tell us are Native Americans have always been here? And then when Lex showed us, maybe was it 2 years ago, where certain Native American tribes will give automatic citizenship to people from Turkey, right? People from Turkey that go and apply for citizenship because they're related to each other. Why up in Rochester, New York, certain Native American tribes come together and they have, Turkey Day? Not like in Turkey Thanksgiving, but turkey like in the Ottomans, right? And they come to celebrate their Turkish ancestors. And now these same tribes are making land claims. Senecas, I was reading a book that was released that a Seneca gave to me, and she actually gave it to me on Tuesday, and it was basically about how the Senecas are doing their own version of land claims. And this, because I talked to this, Seneca, she's a professor at one of the universities here, and I asked her about treaties and so on and so forth. So at first I think she was just she was rude because I don't think she believed the stuff I was pointing out. But once I think she looked into it, especially like Oxford English Dictionary, the definition of the nigger, and then the song, and then there were 9, and so on and so forth. She's come around. That when I say I'm not an African, I'm an American Aborigine. I'm not playing. Oh, I only have a minute left. But yeah, I'm still trying to look for a treaty that would give land claims for Florida. So if anyone else has any ideas about it, I'd appreciate it if you left the link. But right now I'm just reading through these one at a time, and I'll get there. But I just want to help other people that are doing it that might not have known us, might have laid out or showed how it's done. So just check it out. All right, take care, everyone.